Hi, this is JJ Smith, and welcome to the weekly Wow of Spirit Stories. This week we had a pretty serious one. I had a woman come in who actually wanted to talk with her best friend. They were both in their late 30s, and her friend, the reason she was wanting to talk with her friend is because her friend had crossed over and the authorities had ruled it as self harm, like she had crossed herself over. But the woman that came to visit me, her best friend, was absolutely convinced that her husband had had a hand in what happened to her. And so she was wanting to talk with her best friend and try to get some more specifics on what had happened and what was going on. So as we sat and started talking with her best friend. So when her best friend showed up, she had so much information. It was just boom, 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 boom. Like the information was coming so fast. And I had actually never been involved in a reading where someone's life had been taken by another human being before. So that I was a little nervous, right? I was like, boy, I don't know how that's going to feel and how that's going to show up. Because sometimes when spirits cross over, they will have me feel how they felt when they were crossing over. So I was a little nervous as I realized, what this woman was wanting for the reading. But luckily, the friend showed up in the spirit, showed up in love and compassion and very high vibrating. But she had a lot of information. As I was giving this information to the friend, I said to her, this is probably a criminal case. And of course she was like, I knew it. But I said, those aren't the kind of readings I do. There are mediums that read for law enforcement to help with stuff like that, but that's not my genre per se. But I think, it went really, really well. And the spirit was able to give her friend a lot of not only information, but closure and more so the message that she needed to move on with her life and live her life in a healthy manner and not become so single focused on how her friend's passing happened that it ended up stealing her own life away from her. And so there were some really powerful messages that came as a result of that. And it's funny because her friend was really kind of forward and pushy and bossy. And what always makes me laugh is a spirit shows up with the same personality they had when they were here on Earth. Now, obviously, they don't hold on to their personality when they're on the other side. But when they come for visits, they show up with their personality because that's what helps their friend or their loved one say, oh yeah, that's her for sure. That's absolutely what she would say, or that was always her tag phrase. And what was interesting is after we finished this session, which was probably like 4 p.m, her friend left and I went about my business. And then that evening I was in my kitchen loading my dishwasher and all of a sudden her friend was there again, right? Like, oh, I have more information for you. I want to talk to you some more. And I have to put my foot down and say, this is not an appropriate time. This isn't the appropriate area. If you have more information that you want to share, you're welcome to do that. But during the daytime, during normal hours, you can't be coming at night and trying to kind of wedge in or push in to my life. A lot of people don't realize when you're communicating with spirit, you have to set some boundaries because otherwise they'd be there all the time, right? It's like, oh, talk to me. I've got information. And so she was very respectful of the boundaries that I set. And she did end up coming back to me the next day while I was driving with some additional information. But that was a very interesting reading because, like I said, I had never done a reading in that circumstance before. And I know for a fact that her best friend, who was the one that came in for the reading, it really has been helping her with wrapping her mind around what happened. This is JJ Smith, and this week's episode of the weekly Wow of Spirit Stories. If you'd like to book a session or get more information, feel free to visit me at jjsmithmedium.com, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks.